Food shortages have taken a toll on different food banks around the country. We've been getting a lot of comments from you guys, our followers, different places, a lot of emails where a lot of food banks have been short on food. And this is something that we have to discuss. Okay, we don't want people going hungry. Now, as to where most of the stories that we are getting are limited, right? We're seeing areas that are giving out limited amounts of food so that they can provide for everyone. I did a little bit of research. There's a few things that I want to discuss. One, the things that food banks accept. Now, it is different between every food bank in every city. Some cities provide different things, and I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about if you want to donate to some of these food banks, what you have to do. First of all, I would call the local food bank to see what they're accepting. Because if they're not accepting it, they'll turn it away. And the last thing we want to do in a world right now where inflation is sky high, grocery prices are ridiculous, we want to make sure that we're buying the things that they're going to actually accept. I don't really like this. I think that, if you have meal plans, thing is I do get it though. They're limited on what they can do. They're limited on what they can give away, and they're limited on things that they can keep in stock. Now, I don't know about most food banks around the country, but ours here in Cincinnati are closed on the weekends. That can prove quite difficult if you are only available on the weekends. Now, I don't know if they accept donations on the weekends. We're going to be doing some things to try and figure this out in the future. But I've always known that if I'm going to donate to the food bank, to make sure that I go during the week. They've pretty much always been closed on the weekends, at least from what I understand. But I want to go over some items here to maybe keep in mind when you find a good deal on it if you want to donate to your local food bank. And we're going to go in and discuss a lot of this different stuff on food shortages and things like this as well, because this ties in with a lot of things that they accept, and it could prove quite troublesome here in the upcoming months of some food shortages that we are expecting in the chain. Now, mind you, when I say food shortages, I don't mean gone. I mean food shortages as to where it may be hard to get for a while. It'll get restocked, hopefully, at one point. But, these are things, there's been some misunderstanding with some people and stuff like that. Food shortages, when we talk about these, at least when I talk about them, we assume that they'll come back at some point. Now, through the grocery stores, we've seen where things will go away for a while. Then they'll come back at a much higher price, right? Because that just seems to be the trend in the grocery stores over the last couple of years. Those of you who follow me on the channel know this. But let me go over just a few things here that are common things that food banks accept. Cereal, soup, pasta. I'll slow down. I might be going too fast here. Cereal, soup, pasta, rice. That's one that's been coming up on a major food shortage. That could be a strong possibility here in the near future. Some people have been saying that does not connect to basmati rice. Basmati rice is my favorite, so I mean that's a good thing. But we will, as we see more and more rice shortages, we will see the prices go up. So we're gonna get into all this ways we can save and stuff like that. But tinned tomatoes and pasta sauce. Okay, I thought that was, random, but lentils and beans. Okay, they're not very clear whether it needs to be canned or bagged, and this is why I say you want to make sure that you call your food bank to make sure that they're accepting bagged beans or even like bagged rice and stuff. How does it have to be sealed? Can it be in a plastic bag? These are things we need to find out with each one. So that way we're not wasting our money, because that's the thing. It's like, it's so expensive right now. That's why these food banks are low, because most people who were donating before might not be donating as much as they used to because of some of their prices. They have to keep their families fed as well, and that's another thing. We've been getting a lot of emails on, and again, we'll go into that here in a few minutes. And it goes on, like right in the middle of all of this, I was reading that donations are not going as far because of that reason. Um, Two more items are canned fruit and peanut butter. Now, I know that they've actually turned away peanut butter before. Okay, I was making a donation and they would not take the peanut butter, mostly because I guess they have a cycle around that they had too much. They had too much of it at the time. So wasn't a big deal. I kept it. I ate it. Now, one thing I do want to go over, and I know a lot of like crazy things with Kroger and price increases and all this stuff, but I do want to talk for a second of what Kroger claims that they are going to eliminate waste by 2025 in Ohio. In Ohio, they just said Ohio. So Kroger's is located in Ohio. That is the main headquarters. All of that is here in Ohio. So, I mean, that would be great if they can eliminate all waste by 2025. I know things like different organic fruits and vegetables, if they get close to the date, they're wasting a lot of this stuff. And I don't know how they'll ever work around that because they want to try and make the money on it, before they have a chance or before they're able to donate it, and I don't know, take this for what you will. I hope they're doing this. I know they started an initiative a while back called the Zero Hunger, Zero Waste Program. Okay, and this is for the Mid-Ohio food banks. So, and they are very clear on Ohio. So, as far as I guess if they're trying to conquer one state with this, maybe eventually it'll spread out around the world. Who knows? I do know Kroger donates a lot of things to different places all around the country. So, and along with many other stores probably, but I just wanted to name that one because I know Kroger gets a lot of hate for some of this stuff, but they do donate their time and different foods to the food banks. But it is specific. I don't think I don't think I could take, like, me or you can't take like a salad or a head of lettuce or something to the food bank. Maybe some you can, ours you can't. So it's very limited on things that you can buy. That's why we have the list here. If you need to hit pause, I wrote the list down of these here, or you can just hit rewind. Guys, it's something we need to talk about. It's something that's kind of been bugging me for a couple months now. And now that we have the heat, like 80% of the country a couple days ago was under a serious heat advisory. Okay. And it's like, we don't want people out here that don't have a home, that can't go nowhere. We don't want them going without water. And that's another thing. They didn't mention water on here. And I don't know. It's very vague. We're going to have to pay a visit to the food store. I'd actually like to go in, not undercover, let them know what I'm doing, but I want to show like a lot of the things they're getting in, what they accept. Because unless you go into the free store, you're not going to really get a good idea of what they have and what they're giving out. Now I understand that if you're going to be donating fresh items, if you're perishable items, you probably have to have some kind of license like Kroger may have or something to do that. I get that for food safety and all that. Absolutely. Guys, we have been getting so many different emails lately from people that are hurting, that can't feed their families. People who don't want to, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything because if you email me, that basically tells me that you're not putting it on the channel here. I want to make sure that it's all private here, but it is all over the country. Believe it or well, California, guys. California is a big one. We're getting emails from residents in California who can barely afford to feed their families, that they've been having to go to food banks and they still have jobs. Good jobs. A couple of people that I'm longtime viewers of the channel here, that they've been having trouble getting food, and like portion sizes have been very small. That has been the big thing lately that people have been talking about, is that the portions that you're getting from food banks, they basically claim that when you go, it's for 3 nutritional meals, 3 days of nutritional meals. I think it's up to 3 meals a day. But I saw some bags of some things that people bought, and it's like, I mean, I could eat this stuff myself in a day. And if you're spreading it out between you and your wife and a kid or two kids, you know, it just it's a lot worse than I think than we know about. I think it's a lot, a lot of people have been struggling with their own lives. It's like everything has gone up: housing, rent, food, gas is going up now. It's like we're getting hit with 1-2 punches like every week here, and it's just something that we have to keep in mind. If you have any friends or family or close loved ones, make sure that they're doing okay. I won't say things, but I know that sometimes people put stuff on Facebook. I've actually called a couple of my friends that I hadn't talked to in a while because of a sad story or something. One of them, you know, I just like I don't want to go into personal stuff, but it's like just making sure that your family and friends are okay. It is extremely hot outside too, and I think that tends, any kind of bad weather, and a friend or family member where they live, you know check on them, make sure they're okay. Facebook, I know a lot of people hate Facebook. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but I do like how you can keep in touch with friends and family from all around the world. I think it's pretty amazing. People get a little over dramatic on Facebook, but some people use it as their personal drama journal. But I get it. I get it. And usually, like when you see things like this, you're quick to just scroll through and not pay attention. People could be reaching out. People could be reaching out in certain ways. And it's important we pay attention to these things, especially ones that we have grown up with or friends, family. It's like if we can keep that tight knit, together, and make sure things like this, guys. Everybody needs to eat. Everybody needs to eat, and we need to make sure that we're doing our part and making sure that these places are getting what they need. Also, wanted to mention too, if your food banks are low or you're not getting as much, check out a lot of local churches. I know some, you may have mixed feelings on that. That's okay. But there are other outlets, even if you know that maybe a church that that doesn't give out food or stuff like this, you can at least talk to some of them, because I'm sure like a lot of people through different churches know other churches that may give out food and stuff like that. We have even had emails from people, from you guys, longtime viewers, that have asked me that if ever I hear of anybody that needs help, that needs food, telling me what city you're in and what state you're in, and if I hear anything there, to let them know. And know this too, and I wanted to mention this to some of you who've reached out like that. I will never give out any personal information. Don't leave your personal information on YouTube at all, or any social media for that matter. But if you email me, that is protected through me. I will not say anything. If I had heard from someone in your area, I would mention it to you, whether you respond or not. I understand sometimes, people are busy, and we don't know what the world's going to be like here in the next couple months. We're expecting some shortages on meat. We're expecting some shortages on rice. We're expecting prices to keep going up on these items because of the shortages. So I just wanted to go into this a little bit here because we've gotten some comments, a lot of emails on this lately. And mine and Jessica's heart goes out to everyone who is struggling with the crazy price increases, and just in general with everything. Everything is getting rough. It's rough for everybody right now, but we don't want anybody going hungry. I will be making donations as well. And again, make sure your family's taken care of. Make sure you're able to provide for your family. I understand that not everybody can do stuff like this, but for those who can, just a little bit may go a long way. If I can look, I will say the next time that I personally, just to tell you what I would do, canned goods. Canned goods seem to be the thing that are always taken. Different, vegetables, soups are accepted. I feel like those are all the things that are always accepted. It was weird about the peanut butter thing, but I don't know. Like I said, maybe give the local food bank a call. Again, what I don't like is that there's nobody to talk to on the weekend. And I understand they need a break too. A lot of those guys, a lot of people are just volunteering, and it's like, I mean, that's an amazing, and our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to all of you as well. Everyone out here who is volunteering for the cause, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. But getting a lot of comments on this lately. Wanted to bring this up, not like it's a panicking emergency or anything like that. There is food. Okay, there is food that is constantly being donated, but it's around here in Cincinnati that I know of anyway, and I know a lot of different parts around the country are struggling worse than we are, because yes, we have a lot of people in Cincinnati, but can you imagine like Los Angeles or New York City, some of these cities that are just huge amounts of people. It's like I can imagine that's why we've been getting the most comments from these different cities. Excuse me. But it's like, again, it's just something we have to pay attention to. We don't want anybody going hungry. And these companies, hopefully with our reach here on YouTube, that we're able to get to at least a few people. The way I look at it is out of the 31,000 faithful watchers on our channel here, if we can reach a few people, if we can reach 10 to 20 people, and I'm not saying that you should donate every day or every week, maybe once a month. Once a month seems like it's easy for me to do, but at the same time, we are all busy. Even once is, you're providing a meal for someone and maybe their child. I always think of the kids when I think of this because it's something important. And I know a lot of families, have been talking about, in the summertime, it's hard because your kid is used to getting a meal at school. And that's not provided in the summertime when they are out of school, so that's another thing. And we got some comments like this last year, and guys, it's part of the motivation of why I do what I do on here. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. If you are unfamiliar, if you are new to the channel, I go to the grocery stores all the time. I am in the grocery stores every day. That is the main focus of the channel, to help try and save you money every day, all day, 365 days a year. I mean, we are constantly tackling food prices. We're hunting down the best sales that we can find, and all stores. We're not just focused on Kroger and some of the big box, big name stores. We go to Dollar Tree, we go to Dollar General, Family Dollar, any of these stores that we can possibly find good sales. We do the best we can to try and help everybody on the channel here save as much money as possible. So when events like this happen, maybe we're able to help out a little bit. Okay. And I'm always a little, the more we grow on the channel here, the more I try to put into it. We've been covering a lot of the different food shortages over the last couple months. Some important subjects that I feel that I need to put into the channel. They're more like little news reports. They're the Danno news reports. We call them coffee rants here on the channel. If you would like to know what coffee this is the Costa coffee. Having this again. It's a nice light coffee. It's a little early. I know I said good afternoon, but you guys will be seeing this in the afternoon, so figure good afternoon. But let me know your thoughts on this down below. Also, anything that you can think of that helps people. All of your comments are read by a lot of our different viewers and myself. So make sure that, you don't have to put your city and state, but it is appreciated. Even if it's just the state, if you notice there are issues, doesn't have to just be with this matter. If you notice there are issues of any shortages or new price hikes in the grocery stores, gas prices, stuff like that, let us all know down below. Kind of just abbreviate your state or something so that thousands of our other viewers who are in maybe Alabama or Arizona or something know where that's hitting. And to give you an example of why that helps, one of our longtime viewers was saying that gasoline had risen to $4.09 in St. Louis. So if I got a little bit, a quarter tank, eighth of a tank of gas, which I never let mine get that low. Uh, but if you, if I know that's coming, right? Because if you're in St. Louis, well, then you are on the line of traffic that's coming east, right? Either I think it's I-70 or I-40, or no, not 40, 70, which 70 goes into 74, which comes into Cincinnati. That's a main thread. That's a main artery truck route of gas that's coming from west to east. It's what's been driving up our prices. Ours went from 319, 329, it's 349, now 359. Don't know what it's going to be today, but I'm glad I knew that it was coming because I filled up, saved probably a few dollars. That few dollars will probably be going into our fridge or to the food bank, guys. I mean, I'm gonna call them and find out exactly what they need. I will keep updates on this. I know Cincinnati doesn't have as big of an issue, like I said, with some of these bigger cities, but we are trying to reach as many people as we can so that we can help any way we can. And even your time, thank you for watching this video. I feel this is a very important one, because again, the high temperatures, the high cost in food, just everything in general. Could you imagine not knowing what you're going to do? I mean, even I think the thing that gets me, and I understand everybody, has a different life, a different reasoning, different things going on, and you have to eat. You have to eat. You have to provide for yourself. Could you imagine working a full-time job, you and your wife, and still having to get food from somewhere? Guys, I knew this was going to happen. I've said this like over the last couple years, when we saw prices skyrocketing, when we saw things just going through the roof, a year and a half ago, November of 2021, our stores around here were practically empty. And I kept saying, I said, oh no, it's coming back, but it's going to come back and it's going to cost you. It's going to cost a fortune. It's going to cost a fortune. And here we are today, and I'm never one. I know, we get some angry people on the channel here sometimes, and somebody said the other day, and it really upset me. They said, oh, you can tell everybody you told them so and all this. This was a long time viewer, and I just letting you know on the channel here, okay, because it was very upsetting, because I understand what you meant and stuff, but I mean, I'm not one to ever say I told you so. That's why we do the channel here, because we show you things as they go along. I am the messenger in the grocery stores. We shop and buy things, and we show you how we buy things. We show you how we save all this money in the grocery stores as we go along. And not just the grocery stores, everywhere. Everything. Everything ties in with how you save money and how you're able to stretch the dollar. As we come in, if we come into a lot of these different food shortages, we will probably talk more about ways to get creative on meals and stuff. And I think that's one thing that really hit me with some of these pictures that people were sending me in emails, with the little bit of food that people are getting in some of these cities and states from different food banks. I'm thinking to myself, wow, I couldn't even stretch that and get creative. Like, I'd have to come up with, $10 to get some meat or something to add with all this stuff, or it's just not going to go the distance. This rice will be gone in one meal, depending on how many people you have in your family, I guess. Assuming that it's more than one, just yourself. If it's just yourself, if it was just me, I'd be able to stretch it probably, but not me and Jess, and it's crazy times, guys, crazy times. Just make sure that you are prepared for all different situations. We always try to talk about that on the channel. When you find sales on things, stock up on these things, especially if there's no limits. I'm not saying like hoard the stores. People say, oh, preppers, they hoard things. No, preppers are smart buyers. They are smart people that know that they can stock up on things at a better price. I've saved a fortune with things that I've bought over the last couple years because I'm not going to spend a certain amount of money on things. Now, I understand a lot of people don't have a choice. They're, whether you're living day to day or week to week, I get it. But as we go along here, as we have prepared ourselves for the future, we are definitely making sure that when we find these better deals, because we don't know what it's going to be. It might be $4 for a can of soup at Kroger next month. You know, we don't know that. We don't know that. So I'm not going to wait around for that. Anyway, kind of just going off track here, but if you would like to donate to your food bank, again, I would say make sure you call. And this goes with anywhere. I would call churches, stuff like that, anywhere you know that distributes food to the public for free. Okay. I would definitely call ahead of time so that you're not buying things or taking things out of your pantry or your cupboard, stuff like that. If you're doing that, you know, because you want to make sure that whatever you're taking, they're not going to say, well, no, we can't take this. That's kind of disheartening. You know, it's like, I looked at that peanut butter and I'm like, this is several meals right here. Several meals. You told me not to bring bread. I didn't bring bread. I brought you the peanut butter, okay, which they had plenty of bread. They had plenty of bread. And I was just like, why would they not take this? But anyway, I don't know. I don't know the full reasons of all that. But that is why I would definitely call them. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. It's an important one to me and a lot of people around the country, around the world. Let's feed the world. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.